So good evening and welcome to Tuesday night meditation. I'm in those of you who know Vajrayana, I'm in the little gompa downstairs and it's quite cold, so I've put the heater on. So can somebody get onto the chat and let me know if the noise of the heater is interfering with the meditation, making it hard for you to hear me. In which case, I can turn the heater off. I've got a nice warm zen. So, can somebody just let me know about that? Thank you. So I'm not getting anything on the live chat, but somebody's given me a thumbs up. So please, if you can't hear, please type something into the live chat and I'll turn the heater off. Okay. So as usual, let's begin with settling the body and letting go of tension in the body. So sit comfortably, whether you're on the floor, on a cushion, or on a chair. Make sure you're comfortable and your spine is straight. And let's start at the top of the head. And we're slowly going to scan the body and check for any areas of tension. And when we find them, we're going to imagine that with each out-breath, the tension leaves the body. And with each out-breath, we relax more and more. But keeping the spine straight, but not rigid. Remember, we want to get rid of any tension in the body. So moving down over the forehead, having a sense of spaciousness, relaxation. Coming down to the eyes, relaxing all the little muscles around the eyes. And relaxing the eyes themselves. Soft gaze. Being aware of the temples. Moving down over the cheekbones to the mouth. Relaxing the muscles around the mouth. Relaxing the jaws. Whole face soft, at ease. And coming back to the top of the head, moving down the back of the head, to the base of the skull. Relaxing the neck. Coming to the tops of the shoulders, relaxing the shoulders, lifting them up and letting them drop. And travelling down the backbone to the base of the spine. Checking the shoulder blades when you come level with the shoulder blades. Having shoulders back a little rather than hunched forward. That helps to open up the chest. And coming to the front of the body, top of the chest. Diaphragm and belly. Again, a sense of spaciousness, openness, soft, relaxed. Feeling the strength of the spine and the softness in the front of the body. Being aware of the contact with the chair or the cushion. The body supported, safe, still. And remember, anywhere that you notice tension, allow it to leave the body with the out-breath. And imagine that it just dissolves into space. Coming back to the tops of the shoulders. Moving down to the elbows. Wrists. Back of the hands. And palms of the hands. Be aware of the fingers. And move to the hip joint. Down to your knees, ankles, top of the feet, soles of the feet, and your toes. Breathing normally and naturally. Just enjoying the experience of the body at ease. Be aware of the whole body, from tips of your toes to the top of your head. Still, relaxed, and safe. So before we move on to our usual breathing meditation session, let's set, as always, a very positive motivation. Remembering our shared humanity. We're all brothers and sisters in this one human family. About 7 billion of us across the world. And every single human being has the wish to be happy and not to suffer. So keeping this in mind and opening our hearts, let's have the thought that we are doing this meditation session not only for ourselves, but for the benefit of everybody on this planet. Take some time to make this wish as sincere as possible. And so when we move into the breathing meditation, our only task is to keep the awareness with the breath. This is simple, but not always easy. So whenever the mind wanders, and you notice, the moment you notice, you bring the awareness back to the breath without beating yourself up, without judgment or criticism. Just bring the awareness back to the breath. So let's start. You just got a few seconds to warm up so that you can adjust your posture, making sure your spine to be relaxed, still, and vigilant. And while we need to be vigilant, we need to be aware when the mind wanders, try not to bring tension into that vigilance. It's almost a contradiction, isn't it? Vigilant in a relaxed way. It's a big challenge. Aware, bright, perhaps is a good word. A bright but relaxed awareness that notices whenever the mind wanders. Thoughts are not the problem. Sounds are not the problem. That itch on your knee is not a problem. It's just a reminder to bring the awareness back to the breath. Do your best to be aware of the whole of the in-breath and the whole of the out. Normally we focus on the breath entering and leaving the nostrils. But if you find that your mind is more agitated than usual, you can focus on the rise and the fall of the abdomen. And this is quite grounding. Wherever you choose to put your focus, keep it there for the whole of that particular meditation session. Don't swap back and forth between the nostrils and the abdomen. Remember too that breathing meditation is not about controlling the breath. It's about merging with the breath, being one with the breath. Keeping your focus, your awareness on the breath. have a little stretch. And remember, particularly those of you who are new, that even if you spend the whole of that 20 minutes that we do the breathing meditation, bringing your mind back, that's fine, because we are training our mind to stay focused. And we can all appreciate the benefit of a focused mind. So keep practicing and don't feel discouraged. So I've been working with, on Tuesday nights, with this emptiness. You can't be around Buddhism for long without hearing the word emptiness. So before we go any further, I want to make it very clear that emptiness doesn't mean nothingness. And that when we say that things are empty, it does not mean they don't exist. It's talking about how things exist, including ourselves. So whatever exists is empty of existing independently. That's a good place to start. Yeah. And if you think about it, I very much doubt that you'll be able to find something that exists independently. So let's look a little bit at this a little bit about what emptiness means. So it sounds pretty abstract, but in fact, it's very practical and it's relevant to our lives. The first step towards understanding it is to try and get an idea of what it is we think exists. To locate, for example, the I, not this I, capital I, that we believe in it so strongly, yeah? And then, by using clear reasoning in analytical meditation, to see that it is a mere fabrication, something that has never existed and could never exist in the first place. So we're talking about the false understanding of the I. But don't throw out too much. You definitely exist. There is a conventional, interdependent self that experiences happiness and suffering, that works and studies and eats and sleeps and meditates, and if we put in the work, eventually becomes enlightened. So the first most difficult task is to distinguish between this valid I, this is the interdependent one, and the fabricated one. Usually we cannot tell them apart. In the concentration of meditation, it is possible to see the difference, to recognize the illusory I and eradicate our long habituated belief in it. So this meditation is a practical first step in that direction. So again, make sure you're comfortable and bring bring your awareness to the breath. And touch base again with the motivation that we set up earlier on this evening. Now, with the alertness of a spy, slowly and carefully become aware of the I. Who or what is it that thinks, feels, and meditates? How does this I appear to you? Is it a creation of your mind? Or is it something that exists concretely and independently in its own right? Take some time to try to locate it. Where? Where is this I? Is it in your head? Your eyes? Your heart? Is it in your hands? Is it in your stomach? Is it in your feet? Very carefully consider each part of your body. Include the organs, the blood vessels, and the nerves. Search everywhere. Can you find your I? It might be very small and subtle. So don't forget to consider the cells and the atoms and the subatomic particles. If you do think that your I is a part of the body, then what would happen if that part were removed in an operation or damaged in an accident? And what happens to the I when your body ceases to function at death? Perhaps you think your mind is the I. Now, the mind is a constantly changing stream of thoughts, feelings, and other experiences, coming and going in rapid succession. It's never the same from one moment to the next. Which of these experiences is the I? Is it a loving thought, an angry thought, a happy feeling, a depressed feeling? If you think that your I is one of these experiences, then what happens to it when that kind of experience is not present in your mind? If your I is love, for example, then when your mind is filled only with anger, does the I go somewhere else or disappear altogether? Is there no I at that time? Or maybe you have many I's, an angry one, and a loving one, and a frightened one, and so on. If you cannot find the I in your body or your mind, then could it be something else? Is there some extra part of you other than your body and mind? After all, we say, my body and my mind, implying the existence of something else that owns these two. If so, what is it? Where is it found? What kind of phenomenon is it? Examine every possibility you can think of. And again, look at the way your I actually appears, how it feels to you. Do you still believe that it is as solid and real as you felt before? Next, mentally disintegrate your body. Imagine all the atoms separating and floating apart, billions and billions of minute particles scatter throughout space. And imagine that you can actually see this. And now disintegrate your mind. Let every thought and feeling, sensation and perception simply float away. Then check your feeling of I. Do not, it's not the I. Therefore, I don't exist. If you're thinking like that, just pinch yourself. I've just got a message on the screen saying the connection was unstable. I don't know if you missed a sentence, but let's backtrack a little bit. So you've imagined that you've disintegrated your body and your mind, and you're looking for your feeling of I, and you're asking yourself, where is it? What is it? So do not make the mistake of thinking, my body is not the I, and my mind is not the I. Therefore, I I don't exist. If you think like this, just pinch yourself. Because you do exist, but not in the way that you instinctively feel. You instinctively feel that the I is something independent and inherent. Conventionally, your self exists in dependence upon mind and body. Right? Conventionally, your self exists in dependence upon mind and body. And this combination is the basis to which conceptual thinking ascribes a name, like I, or self, or Mary, or Harold. This is the you that is sitting and meditating and wondering, do I exist? So whatever exists is necessarily dependent upon causes and conditions, or parts and names for its existence. Take a car, for example. This is a collection, yeah, of pieces of steel and glass and plastic and rubber and an engine and so on. This has all been put together by people in a factory. We give the name car to this collection. But if we look for a real, concrete, independently existing car, it cannot be found. So conventionally, things exist dependently. And understanding dependence is the principal cause for understanding their ultimate nature, which is called emptiness. The conventional nature of an object is its dependence upon other things. And its ultimate nature is its emptiness of inherent, independent existence. Again, the conventional nature of an object is its dependence upon other things. And its ultimate nature is its emptiness of inherent, independent existence. Think now about how your body exists conventionally, independence upon skin and blood and bones and so on. Think about your mind, how it exists, independence upon thoughts and feelings and perceptions and sensations. And each of these exists independence upon the previous conscious experiences that gave rise to them. Now go back to your feeling of self or I. Think about how you exist conventionally, independence upon mind and body and name, the self's parts. So when the body feels hungry or cold, for example, you think, I'm hungry, I'm cold. And when the mind has an idea about something, you say, I think. And when you have feelings, if you love someone, you say, I love you. And when you introduce yourself, you say, I am so-and-so. Apart from this sense of I, that depends upon the ever-flowing, ever-changing streams of body and mind, is there an I that is solid, unchanging, and independent? The mere absence of such an inherently existing I is the emptiness of the self. We could simply say the self is empty of existing independently. It doesn't mean that the self does not exist. As I said before, if you think you don't exist, then just pinch yourself. So let's finish off with some kind of conclusion as to how your self exists. This is a meditation that we need to do again and again and again so that we can begin to understand how we exist and slowly chip away at our false view of the self as existing independently, inherently, as a unitary, single thing, rather than something that is made up of parts and given a label. So let's dedicate the positive energy to the happiness and well-being of everybody on the planet. And let's hope as we come to have a deeper understanding of how we exist, this will really help us to open our hearts to others. So may all beings everywhere be well and happy and free of suffering. So thank you for joining me and enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you.